How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel and happy Thanksgiving, or if you're watching this when it releases, happy Thanksgiving. If not, I am thankful for everyone who watches this channel. The growth has been great. I really appreciate everyone's support. This has been so much fun covering the NBA and doing this work, and if there's any kind of video you really want or anything you really want me to make, let me know and I'll definitely consider it. But y'all are the best. We're on our way to 10K by the end of the year, and we're doing great. I have a bunch of fun content planned for the future, so enjoy this video on 3 of my favorite rookies to watch over the last couple weeks or so, and just like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Thanks so much. Happy holidays. No intro since we already did it. Rob Dillingham is the first rookie of note, and if you enjoy him, you'll also probably enjoy the Trae Young video I'm releasing at the same time, so go watch that if you enjoy this one. But Dillingham has cracked the Wolves rotation kind of out of nowhere and has been a bit of a revelation, like notably had a ridiculous plus-minus in this game and has the blow-by burst at the moment to blow by a great defender in Fred VanVleet and finish at the rim. Like, Rob with the shifts is a hell of a creator, man. Like, he is so dynamic with the ball in his hands, and he's doing this against 2 of the best defenses in the league recently, against the Celtics and the Rockets. Al Horford is usually an excellent switch big, but Dillingham's able to hit this quick little between legs crossover, accelerate into space, and finish with the inside hand, man. He is so crafty and always probably going to be limited to some extent by his size at just 6'1", but the craft really stands out with him as a scorer. And yeah, the ability to create from a standstill. And it's not always like the easiest stuff, but these are the kind of shots that Rob's been taking forever. I love the little stutter rip right there. And even though Rob can't really create much of an advantage, like he's still pretty level with Hauser, this quick little scoop flick is really hard to guard when Rob has the kind of touch and skill and dexterity to get shots like that off consistently. And oh my goodness. First of all, this Raptors court is a work of art. This is like the most beautiful basketball court I've ever seen. This is unbelievable. I honestly love the city courts. So if you want to see me do a video like ranking the city courts or any of like the NBA Cup stuff, I love jerseys and all that shit. So let me know if that's something you'd be interested in. But oh my goodness, the deadly wrong foot finish. Rob is so good at doing that wrong foot to like throw the timing of the shot blockers off. It's a really great trait of his, and there's always going to be some limitations to Rob's finishing because of his size, but his ability to create paint touches downhill. Again, Fred VanVleet pressing him kind of, but Dillingham puts him on his back, gets him in jail, and is able to get all the way to the basket. Randall ends up getting the offensive board, so no harm, no foul. But he has been really great getting to the paint, and his ability to create paint touches was one of the things I was monitoring with him. And there's going to be some moments where he just like looks small. Hey, going against his old Kentucky teammate Reed Shepherd, hopefully he can play better because he's been pretty rough to start, to be perfectly honest. But Dillingham, definitely going to be moments where he's limited to just having to rely on like a really difficult lefty touch shot, and he can definitely make those shots, don't get me wrong, but it's a tough life to live. And oh my goodness, this is one of my favorite plays because it not only showcases his ability to get downhill, but also to relocate to the corner and hit a 3. Dillingham's shooting, of course, part of what makes him a great prospect. But look at him creating an easy paint touch here. Like, this is a pretty, again, Xavier Tillman, a good switch big, and is going to sneak through a pretty tight gap between him and Peyton Pritchard right there with the handle. Almost finishes in traffic. Like, oh my God. The fact that was that close, like, he is just a dazzling player, to be perfectly honest. One of my favorite, like, prospects to watch in a long time at Kentucky. If you watch this channel, you know how much I love Rob. But I love this fit at the time of the draft. Like, you can't go under Rob with the shifts. He's going to pull from 27 feet. The Wolves needed his defensive juice so badly, or his offensive juice, sadly. A little Freudian slip. Like, he's not only a scorer, but he processes the game really quickly. He notices, like, before he even catches the ball, right, you can see his eyes turning towards Reed, where Fred is going to try to close out here. Reed swings, and then he beats this closeout to the rim, because Naz is just an awesome player as well. I kind of alluded to it, but Rob's defense, low-key been kind of good. I can't lie. The passing, though, from like the pick and roll, he can be really effective as well. Just a very dynamic player who can play on and off the ball. And just look at this defensive possession. Like, he is fighting on defense, and I didn't love Dillingham's defense as a prospect. I thought it was kind of unfairly maligned just because that Kentucky team was so bad on defense. And I think he's been a little better than even I thought, but you can see his agility and he's really fighting over screens. There are times when he gets plastered by them, but like in that recent Rockets game, he had a couple great possessions going over screens against Van Vliet, jumps that passing lane. Like the activity is really impressive. And the fact that he's shown all of this so early in his Minnesota career, like he's scoring efficiently, he's creating for himself and others, he's kind of defending, like, man, I think the ceiling is really high with Dillingham, and the fact that like he is a necessary part of the rotation, and that definitely has trade-offs because like his defense is going to be rough, and he is a rookie, and he's going to have those nights, but he brings an element of creation from the perimeter that the Wolves just don't have, especially with Conley showing his age and all the other guards. Like Nikhil is sometimes can create, is more defense oriented, so it's a lot of just Anthony Edwards doing it all by himself. So it's good that he has a running mate in Dillingham for the future and for right now. He's freaking awesome. And the next guy, another incredible rookie, Donovan Clingan, who has been one of the best shot blockers in the NBA this season. I believe he's currently leading the NBA in block rate as I am recording this. Obviously, caveats there because he doesn't play nearly as many minutes as a lot of the other top shot blockers, but he is incredibly productive on a per minute basis. And he shows the value of just being an enormous guy who moves well enough. Like you can see Clingan is pretty smooth in this back pedal here. He's going to just move backwards and drop. And it looks pretty good. Like he's able to keep his balance. And of course, it's just hard to shoot over a guy who's 7'2" and has long arms and is really great at timing up his blocks as well. And Clingan is definitely not a perfect player, but like he's even shown the ability to move in space a little bit. This was really impressive. Teams definitely are trying him in space and will get him for sure, but out on an island against Naz Reid, gonna slide his feet, get his hand in there. This is a great little hand placement too. Like you can see him getting in there for the reach. That's just perfect placement on that swipe down. Clingan is so good placing his hands right in the right spot to make a play on the ball, and that's just a really impressive trait. But like I said, not perfect in space, is definitely going to have his moments, and I'm very curious where, it's not going to be this year, but whenever he gets to the playoffs, how defenses will approach that, or maybe he's just good enough. And in this Wolves game in the fourth quarter, he had 5 blocks. He had 8 blocks in this game. Like, oh my goodness. Clingan is quite the talent. He gave Julius Randle issues, again, going up and blocking that shot with his right hand. He's so good at timing these blocks up. His defensive skill level is really high. Just for a 21-year-old big, really skilled, and obviously just a gigantic person. Gobert is a very large human being as well, and Clingan makes him look small on this shot. Obviously, Gobert's not a good post-fade shooter, but Clingan looks enormous on some of these plays, and he's a pretty capable offensive player too, but we're not getting to that yet because I'm dumb and forgot. This is really impressive. I remember this. Gobert is trying to Gortat seal him off, right? Just means he's building a little air pocket for Jaden to drive into so Clingan can't block, but Clingan just swim moves around him and blocks that shot anyways with his crazy length. And once again, we can see that hand placement, but Clingan is a pretty interesting offensive player too. Like he can pass a little bit from the high post. It's not as much live ball stuff, but when he's running these set plays, he's really good with Shaedon Sharpe, who obviously the threat here is Sharpe coming for a handoff with Clingan and then running some kind of pick and roll, but he's able to just slip back door, and Clingan does a really good job bouncing that pass into space, getting it into Shaedon Sharpe. Like he's not just a play finisher, even though there's inherent value of being gigantic who moves well enough, right? But Clingan again running a dribble handoff here, and great job screening off DiVincenzo before finding Chris Murray on the cut there. He's quite skilled and fairly comfortable with the ball for a rookie of his size, and of course is a really nice roller, lob threat, has been good for Scoot Henderson and all of the Blazers guards because Ayton does not set screens, and Clingan sets really good hard screens. And I don't know what this is or if this is going to mean anything, but this caught me off. This caught me by surprise when I was watching this game. Oh my goodness. This moves me. This is not an open three. This is J-Dub contesting. He shoots it confidently. Maybe that's not the best contest ever, but he shows him attention, and Clingan confidently steps into that. So I don't know if this is actually going to be a thing, but cool to see him attempt those at the very least. And Clingan's a great offensive rebounder as well, and you can see his soft hands. This time with the left hand is going to tap in this shot really easy right there. Super soft hands, just a very good high feel, high skill player who you can make a really good argument to me that he's been the most impactful rookie on like a per minute basis. Obviously, like guys like McCain and Connect are playing more than him, but Clingan's defensive production has been unbelievable. He is shutting shit down at the rim when he's on the floor and is moving decently enough in space. And the Blazers have a top 10 defense this year, and Clingan is a big reason why, to be perfectly honest. And he's doing enough offensively, like conditioning and fouling and that stuff, but he's a really damn good player. And again, don't know how high the ceiling is for Clingan, but he's going to be a good ass player for a long time. And the Blazers have their center of the future, hopefully. I really do think it's looking that way. And for our third rookie, let's talk about Pelle Larsson, who is a more low-key than, Clingan and Dillingham are both top 10 picks. Larsson was a mid-40s pick from the Heat, and you know what that means. Of course he's going to be good. And his just energy and activity, jumping that pass. Okay, I have a bone to pick with Jimmy Butler, who gets away with all of this like egregious grifting, basically shoving Damian Lillard kind of dangerously, doing all of his foul grifting. I don't like it. Whatever. Larsson has been a really nice piece on the wing for the Heat. He shoots, he drives, and the thing I liked most about him as a prospect were some of these driving flashes, where as a legit like 6'6", 6'7" wing, pretty well built, he has a functional handle, and that's shown early, where he can use his strength and size to get into the lane, float that over Fontecchio right there. Has a pretty diverse skill set. This was a really nice rep in that Heat game. He was instrumental to their comeback late in the third quarter, was really great as well, and has a mismatch in Damian Lillard. And even a lot of rookies struggle to take advantage of size mismatches, but Larsson just takes Lillard into the post, spin moves, it's physical. He is a really skilled and impressively wired player. Just feels like a pro. I know it's cliche, but he's a great cutter as well. This is a really good look from Larsson, recognizing where his defenders' eyes are, right? Kyrie kind of checks, but he's focusing in on Jimmy Butler right now, and Larsson knows all this space is open in early offense, and he can just slip right into it for the wide open layup. Good pass by Jimmy right there. Larsson is able to finish right there. So really versatile offensive skill set. I think he's shooting above 40% from three on pretty low volume, and Larsson just has like a little bit of juice off the dribble, pretty smart decision maker, good off-ball player, can shoot the ball as well. And it's not just the shooting here. He's able to use his shooting threat to kind of drive and attack closeouts, which is really impressive that he's already drawing this kind of threat. DeMar DeRozan is going to close out really hard. Larsson pumps, jumps through Malik Monk, draws a foul. And again, just want to note the off-ball movement again, where this play, it looks like it starts where like these two are kind of clogged in the same spot, but Larsson wisely relocates to the wing where he's more wide open, and then he can create from there off the catch. Like, Larsson's not a creator by any means, but he is a really nice play finisher, secondary driver on the wing, and that's been pretty cool to see. And he's got a little passing juice as well. Like, Larsson can do some stuff with the ball in his hands, come off this pick and roll. This is a very simple read, but it's a nice, accurate pass, and he does a great job not passing to where Bam is now, but passing to where Bam is going to be, and that is above the rim. So great find there from Larsson to Bam Adebayo. Just like I said, kind of a jack of all trades at this point, but I do think his handling is kind of abnormal for a wing of his size and his age overall. I've really enjoyed watching him, and another good example of his closeout attack, and this is a beautiful laydown right here. Larsson gets Klay Thompson, and he looks up at the rim here, right? Gafford thinks that Larsson is preparing to shoot. He's going to leave his man, and Bam is going to be wide open right there for the laydown. It's beautiful basketball, and it is really just so classic Heat to get some random, college wing at that stage in the draft. Great relocation, quick pass into a three ball right there. That ends up being a pretty clearly solid NBA player. I don't know how good Larsson's going to be, or what his career is going to look like. His defense is definitely less consistent than the offense. He's not the best on-ball defender, as he can kind of be way too far up right here. He's not really balanced, and PJ is able to blow by him pretty easily for the finish right there in the and one. But like we saw the first play of this, Larsson getting that steal, he can be a pretty active player, as this is a good example of just him running all over the floor, even though he ends up fouling, where I do like Larsson's activity here, right? This is what the Heat were doing all game. The Heat were blitzing Damian Lillard because he was destroying them, sending two defenders at Dame. And of course, this leaves a numbers advantage, 2-on-1 right here. So Larsson does a great job cutting off the most immediate threat, because then maybe Duncan can rotate to that opposite wing if need be, or Ware can maybe come back that way. But anyways, Larsson just does a really good job contesting this pass, getting back into the lane. Like he's going to learn how to improve his body positioning and take better angles as he matures and just plays more NBA ball. But he clearly knows what he's doing, and this is a great play against Jaden Ivey of all people. Really quick, shifty guard, and you can see his strength here, staying attached. Duran is a strong guy, and he doesn't set a great screen, but look how skinny Larsson gets through that screen and is able to keep his right hand up in Jaden Ivey's like eyesight and passing windows. Really solid defender, even if is certainly going to be limited. This is a great job too, recovering and contesting De'Aaron Fox over the screen. I don't know if he's going to be like a good starter. I think that's probably a bit hard to say. Like he isn't an amazing creator, like I said. Only kind of has one speed a lot of the times and isn't the most like explosive athlete vertically, and that's always going to be kind of an issue. But look at Larsson getting that steal, showcasing the effort. Just makes a lot of like right place, right time type plays, which is the most like cliche Miami Heat thing I can think of. But it really is the truth with Larsson, who is just showcasing that he can be an impactful player with and without the basketball. And it does seem to me like, rookie role players are definitely fickle, but Larsson has played like a viable contributor for this Miami Heat team. They really do need him on the wing right now. So I think Larsson's going to stick around, especially if his shooting keeps up, which I think it should. And I definitely want to see the volume getting up, and that's going to probably determine a lot of how good of a role player he can be, is how much of a threat is he commanding as a shooter. But he is a really nice driver, some off-ball movement, playmaking, defense, just a player I like watching a lot. And I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Rob Dillingham, Donovan Clingan, and Pelle Larsson. And I made another one of these videos before. I'm probably going to link it early, but you should go watch that as well. Peace out. Happy Thanksgiving.